Hello, welcome back guys to another video. This time about my Champions League semi-final predictions. So I'm gonna give y'all my predictions on what I think will happen in these semi-finals, and yeah, I think that we got some really exciting clashes coming up, and yeah, but my team Barca were out of the Champions League again. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So I think what's gonna happen on these set of games. So starting off a really with a bang. We're starting off with Bayern Munich against PSG. Well, the first leg is gonna be played at Paris. Second leg it'll be played at Munich. So I think that this game is really good. So yeah, starting off with Bayern Munich, they finished. I mean PSG. They finished 11th in the league phase. Then they had to play Monaco in the playoffs, which they beat obviously. And then in the round of 16, they slapped Chelsea over the both legs. But then in the quarterfinals, they had to play Liverpool. So yeah, but this Liverpool team is really bad. Like they're fifth in the Premier League and they're very inconsistent. Well, the first leg finished 2-0. Now let's talk about the second leg. Well, the second leg, Liverpool actually played much better. But yeah, they did create lots of chances. And they had 21 shots in Liverpool 21 shots, and PSG had less than Liverpool shots. I think Liverpool played better in that game, but PSG just deserved to win. They were too good. But we gotta like something happened in the first half. Hugo Ekitike, he went down injured. Yeah, Hugo Ekitike tore his Achilles tendon, and that was a sad moment when I watched that clip, because Hugo Ekitike will be missing the World Cup. Man, I really feel bad for Ekitike. He was looking like a promising striker, and now he's gonna be missing the World Cup, and he'll be out until January 2027 for like 9 months. I really feel bad. An Achilles tendon injury is actually worse than an ACL. So okay, now back to Liverpool versus PSG game. Ousmane Dembele scored 2 breathtaking goals to send PSG to the semi-finals, and luckily I got that correct. I said PSG was gonna go through over the both legs, and yeah, I think PSG deserved to win here. Okay, Ousmane Dembele. Yeah, they have like great players that have been playing really well recently, like Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Doué, Vitinha, João Neves, Nuno Mendes. Oh, actually he got injured as well. Well, I don't know. Hakimi, etc. Like they have one great player in every position except for the goalkeeper. But the Russian goalkeeper is actually playing well recently, so he might actually be the next Lev Yashin. Who knows? But now moving on to Bayern Munich. Now they finished second in the Champions League phase, skipped the playoffs. They had to play Atalanta in the round of 16. That was a piece of cake for them. They beat them 10-1 over the 2 legs. 4-1. I mean 6-1 the first game. 10-2. I mean, and 4-1 in the second leg. Bayern, they're playing absolutely crazy this season. I think they're going to win the Champions League. They might actually win the Champions League this season. And now, they have to play Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. Okay, so the first leg was a 2-1 win for Bayern Munich. But the second leg, here's when things got really interesting. The first game was entertaining, but the second leg was even more peak entertaining. When I was watching that game, it all started off with Arda Güler's first. It wasn't even the first minute. He scored off with 38 seconds. Yes, 38 seconds after Manuel Neuer error. That was just crazy start for Real Madrid, and I was like, I'm cooked. I can't jinx 3 games and only predict one, correctly predict one. But then it didn't matter because exactly 6 minutes later, uh, Pavlovic scored off a corner and equalized 1-1. Okay, 1-1 just under 10 minutes. Okay, this game was already peak. But then, around the 30th minute, Arda Güler scored a breathtaking free kick. Not gonna lie, it was a bit lucky because Neuer could have easily catch that, but it just went right through his hands. So yeah, but then it got even better because Harry Kane, Upamecano played an excellent through ball to Harry Kane, and Harry Kane finished it off to tie the game again, 2-2. Okay, this game was actually crazy. 2-2 under 40 minutes. Wow. But then Kylian Mbappe scored to make it 3-2 just before halftime. Okay, this game was already peak. This game was so peak that Bayern needed something to avoid going to extra time, and they did. But they had to wait all the way until the 85th minute, where Camavinga got a red card after time wasting. Yeah, Real Madrid deserves that because they time wasted that versus Bayern exactly back in 2024 in the semifinals, and then they got karma. Yeah, they got karma. Then my boy Luis Diaz, Lucho, scored an absolutely breathtaking finish. Yeah, I love Lucho. He's my favorite Colombian player. Yeah, because I'm from Colombia. And Lucho, what a finish. What a finish by Luis Diaz. Well, it did take a slight deflection, but it didn't matter. But then around the 90th, 94th minute, Michael Olise, instead of going to the corner flag, he decided to go. He wanted that goal. Olise wants that goal. And Olise is just one of the best players in the world and scored a banger, man. Then, well, 4-3, game of the season. So far, it's game of the season. Game of 2026. Yeah. And yeah, Bayern, and now they're in the semi-finals against PSG. Now Real Madrid, yeah, they just learned their lesson for time wasting. Yeah. So, who do I think will go through that now? Now before that, I think Luis Diaz Ballon d'Or. Lucho Ballon d'Or, vamos. I think Luis Diaz will win the Ballon d'Or. Like, no one's talking about. Everyone's talking about Olise, Kane, Lamine Yamal. I think Luis Diaz will win the Ballon d'Or because he has some really interesting numbers after he left Liverpool. Now, who do I think will win this clash? Okay, this game, I think that it's gonna be high scoring. It's gonna be peak. I know it's gonna be more entertaining than Bayern versus Real Madrid. And I think Bayern will win. First game is gonna finish 2-2 in Paris, and the second leg Bayern are gonna win 3-2 to make it 5-4 over the two legs. So I think Bayern will go through, but just slightly. I would love to see Luis Diaz cook again. He deserves the Ballon d'Or. Okay, now moving on to our next prediction. We got Atletico Madrid versus Arsenal. So the first game will be played at the Metropolitano, and the second game is gonna be played at London. So, okay, Harambal Derby, man. Harambal Derby. I want Atletico Madrid to get eliminated. Here's why. So Atletico Madrid, they finished 14th in the Champions League. Then they played Bruges, slapped them in the playoffs. They beat them. Then they had to play Tottenham. They got easy opponents, and then they beat them. They absolutely slapped them. And then they had to play. Okay, then they had to play Barcelona in the quarterfinals. So first game finished 2-0 to them. But then I was out of hope. I thought we weren't gonna come back. Because going to the Metropolitano is a difficult task. But when I saw players like posting that we believe doesn't matter if we're home or away. Even Hansi Flick said that we're Barca, we're capable of coming back. Yeah, I believed in the comeback. So in my last prediction video, I predicted a comeback, a remontada. I said remontada, I think we're gonna win 2-0 and beat them on penalties. But it was all going to plan. So start off with Lamine Yamal getting the chance under the first minute, which he nearly scored. But then, 4 minutes later, Lamine Yamal scored to load the remontada, because that's exactly what we needed. A goal under the first 20 minutes. And Lamine Yamal did that. But then, in the 25th minute, Ferran Torres, who else but him? Ferran Torres scored to equalize the legs, 2-2 on aggregate, and I was believing. I was going crazy. Okay, Ferran, wow. But then I thought I believed. I thought we were gonna make the comeback. I was like, remontada. We were playing much better than them. But then, yeah, Aromela Lookman scored to break Barcelona heart. And now we have 45 minutes left to complete the remontada. And yeah, but after having clear penalties, which the referee should have given. I think those were penalties. That Danny almost foul was a penalty, and Fermin Lopez kick to the head. He was bleeding. That was a clear penalty. He was bleeding, bro. And the referee did not give a single penalty. I could tell the referee was on Atletico Madrid side. We all knew that. When I was watching, I was like, this ref is on Atletico Madrid side. Okay, but then Araujo had the last chance, but missed. I was absolutely sad after that. I was like, nah, what is going on, bro? And we're out of the Champions League. No way. It's been 11 years since we last won it, and heading into next season, we're gonna go 12 years without winning the Champions League. Now, football is just the coolest sport. I was just the referee, not as sad as last season where we lost to Inter, which was way more sad, but I was still sad. Okay, really hope Atletico Madrid gets knocked out, but they just lost the Copa del Rey final to Real Sociedad. That's what I love to see, and I got to see the Real Atletico Madrid fans crying. Yeah, the guys are not. They're not even close. They're not gonna win the Champions League. They're going out next round. That's what Rafinha said. They're going out next round. Well. I'm gonna. So let's see what I think about my prediction. Well, they have great players. Julian Alvarez, Alexander Sorloth, Lukman. Lukman is just underrated player in my opinion. Baena, Diego Almada, Johnny Cardoso, yeah, etc. So yeah, now moving on to Arsenal. Okay. So starting off with the bottle jobs, they finished first in the Champions League. Then they squeezed past Bayer Leverkusen. Then yeah, now I want to get this tie out of the way because Arsenal versus Sporting was boring. If you decided to watch that game, I really feel bad for you. Instead of the Real Madrid versus Bayern game, I really feel bad. Finished 0-0. Second leg. Sporting deserved to win. Like Arsenal were playing haram ball. And they deserved to win that game. Sporting. They deserved to go to the next round, but Arsenal just shut them down by playing Park the Bus. And now they're in the semi-finals. But they're bottle jobs. Like bottle now. They lost to Man City in the Premier League. They lost to Man City in the Premier League, and now and Man City was on 67 points, and he was and Man City were 3 points behind Arsenal. And then Man City are level on points with Arsenal, and then but Arsenal won yesterday, so Arsenal are first in the Premier League, but only by 3 points. April Arsenal's definitely here. Okay. Bruh. And I know that they have like great defensive players like Gabriel, Gabriel Martinelli, William Saliba, Julian Timber, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Bukayo Saka's injured. I know. And Gyökeres is actually playing well. Now, but when I predicted Sporting game, I thought that they were gonna go through. Okay, so this game is probably the most unpredictable game because both teams be playing well and then bottling it at the end. So who do I think will go through? I think Arsenal are gonna go through to the Champions League final. And please, Arsenal, I'm begging you, please eliminate Atletico Madrid. They do not deserve to be here. We do. So I think that Arsenal are gonna go through. So yeah, those are my predictions. Hope you like them, and yeah, we'll see you for the second leg semi-final predictions.